So this video is going to be a little bit more off the cuff than some of my other ones. This is going to be a lot more stream of consciousness. I'm talking about this tweet right here because it's been a brainworm. I keep on thinking about it. This kind of idea that, you know, no matter how good your horses are, your graded races always look like this. A lot of people seem to have agreed with this, you know. And a lot of people seem to be running into this problem where they just get loss after loss after loss, and they don't seem to know why. Now, to people who play a lot like me, it's very obvious why. And we'll get to that. And I'm not trying to make this video to hate on this person. It's more to show what they're doing wrong and how to correct it. Now, unfortunately, this video is going out entirely too late to help them in this CM and anyone else in this CM. But hopefully, it'll have some good information. It'll show, you know, the general thought process that goes into building aces for CM, and just generally how to build your stuff, how to actually win. And I want to break down each of their aces, say what they did good, what they did bad, what they could probably do better, explain some of the choices that are made, and just work through what's going on here. So the first thing that I want to start with, before we even get to breaking down in detail what they did, is this kind of idea that sprint CMs are inherently unpredictable. Generally speaking, the shorter the track is, the more unpredictable stuff happens, and the more variance comes in. So you can do really, really good CM prep, and you can still lose 5 in a row. You can do mediocre CM prep and win 4 to 5 in a row. So variance comes in all CMs, but especially in a sprint CM. But this poster has taken the liberty of actually showing what their racers look like. And we're going to break this down top to bottom. And we're going to start with their choice, Sakura Bakushin O. Now, Sakura Bakushin O, I think, is a great choice. I wouldn't put her in the top meta picks, but she is definitely, you know, in the running for being a competitive Uma for this CM. She's not Taiki Shuttle, she's not Nishino Flower, she's not Oguri Cap, she's not a Curren Chan. But she can definitely be competitive, and she has a lot of things in her kit that are to like. So, Sakura Bakushin O, especially since, from my reading of everything that they've done, this is a more casual account. As a free Uma Musume, great choice. So we'll next break down the rank, SS. At this point, rank means very, very little. Just because a Uma Musume is a higher rank than you doesn't mean that they're good. It is very easy right now to artificially inflate your score to get higher and higher ranks and still build something that is absolute garbage that could never win a single race. And that has become easier and easier. So SS rank also is just not super impressive right now. I was getting in Make a New Track, SS was my baseline. If I didn't get SS, I felt like I did really, really poorly, because I did, usually. Good was S plus. Great were some of the UGs that I built. And in Make a New Track, I was able to, my record was a UG3. We've now entered Unity Cup era, and my new baseline is UG. So this is not to say that, UGs are necessarily better than a well-built SS. It's more to point out that SS rank is no longer an impressive rank to hit in the most competitive mode in the game, Champions Meet. It's not bad. In my runs, I am running a UG4 Taiki Shuttle, a UG4 Nishino Flower, and a UG2 Fuji Kiseki. And I have definitely lost to SS and SS plus. So rank isn't everything. But that's the point that I'm making here, is rank isn't anything, doesn't mean anything right now. All right. Let's move on to the speed. Now, their speed isn't horrible, but it's not good either. So it's above the old cap of 1200. But the new cap in Unity Cup, which is where they're running these, is at the very least 1300. And you can get it to like 1350-ish with some inspirations. So their speed is about 150 below the cap of other people are hitting. Now, how much speed actually matters after a certain point, since the acceleration period for this track is much shorter than other ones, both by being a sprint and it being Nakayama, which has a short home stretch. That's up for debate. But their speed, although over the old cap, is nothing to write home about. Their stamina is absolutely fine. 462 stamina is absolutely enough to win on Nakayama sprinter stakes. So I don't feel like I need to break that down any further. This is the stat that really hurts them, though. Their power is super low. Power is much more important on the shorter the track is, and the more that jockeying matters. You're a pace chaser. Jockeying for good position is the only thing that matters. And power is what lets you pass other people and accelerate. Two of the most important things. 831 is 400 below what the old cap is. And another thing is, if you go above 1200 on power, you get the new status of fully charged, which helps you to accelerate even faster. That power is honestly one of the main things that's holding down the Sakura Bakushin O, in my opinion. I haven't seen it race. This is just me doing a, autopsy. But this power should at least be 1200. Probably higher. All right, their gut stat. I think their guts is probably fine. Obviously, having more is better. But guts is really not that important on this racetrack, in my opinion, because of the relatively short home stretch. This isn't Yasuda Keenan, where we're accelerating. We're on the home stretch for, 600, 700 meters. This is Nakayama, where you're on the home stretch for like 300 meters at most. Your duels are not going to be very long if they occur at all. So this is a perfectly fine amount of guts. Obviously, it would be better if it was higher, but it is not one of the main problems. And lastly, their wit. Their wit is honestly too high. If you've watched my video on stats and how they work, you'll know that wit runs into incredible diminishing returns. This extra 200 wit above the cap is really not adding all that much to their skill activation chance. It helps to artificially inflate your score. It's a good thing to click, but if we took that 200 wit above the cap, hell, even take the 400 wit and had it at 1000 and put it into power, this would be a significantly better Sakura Bakushin O. Wit has a lot of exciting reasons to click it. It's a very good thing to click in a lot of times, but their wit being their highest stat does not bode well, especially since they're missing their power. All right. Track, distance, neither are S. This is just another thing that hurts it. S turf, S sprint can definitely help a lot on this. I'm not going to hammer home too much that they should be, like, at least sprint should be S. You just miss it sometimes, but it is definitely something that really hurts not having sprint S and turf S. Right. And then we'll go down to the skills. So genius times Bakushin equals victory, only being at level 3, means that they missed some of their upgrades by not having enough fans. They need to be doing more races to upgrade this ability and get more skill points to buy more skills, because their skill loadout fits entirely on this screen. Sure, 5 of them are gold. They could, if they did more races, they would be able to upgrade this, and they would be able to get more skills, and that would help a lot. Now, looking at the skills that they inherited from their parents, Yummy Speed, hashtag Look at Curren, and Prideful King, all of these are suspect. None of these are particularly good inheritances. None of them really provide what you want out of your inheritances. I would argue that probably the best one is Prideful King, and it has some problems that I'll get to, but Yummy Speed is just not a very good ultimate. If I remember right, it doesn't inherit very well, and it directly drains your stamina and guts to try and, accelerate at the end. I'm not even sure if it's acceleration. I think it's actually velocity. Yummy Speed is just not a very good ultimate. So that's probably wasted 160 to 180 skill points. Hashtag Look at Curren. Again, it doesn't inherit very well. It's just not a very good skill. And Prideful King. Prideful King can be good. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like Oguri Cap's Triumphant Pulse, but weaker. And Triumphant Pulse is a very good ability. The problem with Prideful King, besides the fact that it's weaker than a different option, is that it directly goes against what you want to be doing with Sakura Bakushin O. I'm assuming that they're running it as a pace chaser. They're running Speed Star. Sakura Bakushin O is, in my opinion, the best as a pace chaser. Prideful King wants you to be in the back half, where pace chasers want to be towards the front and middle. This ultimate is just against what you want to be doing as a pace chaser. And as an insurance policy, it's not providing acceleration or anything like that. So, not very good. Now, what they should be having as their inheritances is Taiki Shuttle's ult and Nishina Flower's ult. These two are I would argue, the best ultimates in the game for this track right now. And I know for a fact that they have a Taiki Shuttle because they're running it as one of their runners. So they have access to Taiki Shuttle, and they can borrow a Nishina Flower Parrot. If they had those abilities, those would be significantly better than anything that they actually have. Another good inherent here would be something like, Ogure Cap's Triumphant Pulse. So we'll move down to the next two. Now, they have both right-handed and left-handed. Obviously, only one of these can trigger. I understand that sometimes you just have points left over after a run, and you just need to buy something, and it's often a green skill because they're usually cheaper. But when you're trying to hyper-optimize an ace, you generally want to avoid these green skills that don't do anything. For the record, it's a right-handed track, so left-handed is actually doing nothing. That being said, right-handed, very good. It increases your speed. You want to go faster. This is a good skill to have. It's the left-handed that pulls it down. Next, we'll talk about It's On. Now, this skill is good. It is a good way to help you jockey for position, which, as I said, as a pace chaser, is very important. It helps you to overtake someone when it triggers. It gives you some velocity. It prevents pace down. It's On can be very good. The problem is It's On is often very expensive for what it does. And you get most of the benefit of It's On from the white version of the skill, Ramp Up. While it's not a bad skill to have, and I have definitely taken It's On some of my aces because there was just nothing else to buy, it is something that Ramp Up usually does the job 90% as well for half the cost. Now, No Stopping Me, I generally have no complaints about No Stopping Me. This is a very good acceleration skill, and you should probably be picking it up most of the time on your pace chasers, your late surgers, your end closers. No Stopping Me, good. No complaints. Homestretch Haste, on the other hand, I have some complaints about. On paper, this skill sounds really, really good. It gives you velocity right at the end where you want it. You want to speed up right at the end and, overtake your enemies. That sounds really good. Homestretch Haste has some problems, though. It has very, very loose activation windows, which means that it can activate, right. When they say homestretch haste, they mean finish line haste, because you're going to be there in 2 seconds. Not even 2 seconds, 2 steps. The skill is very expensive and not very consistent, and I don't really want to go into the conversations on how speed carryover works and all of that, but homestretch haste, while it's a skill that hypothetically does something, it's very, very inconsistent and oftentimes not worth the points. Next, we have Speedstar. Speedstar, again, I'm not going to complain about it. This is a very good skill. Congratulations on getting your, on making your fine motion check. Next, we have Turbo Sprint. Again, this is like No Stopping Me for the sprints. This is a very good skill. No complaints. Groundwork. I do have some complaints about their groundwork. Mostly in that it's never going to activate. So if you look at their skills that can actually activate their groundwork, it's right-handed. You need 3. So groundwork, well, technically Burning Spirit Wit can also help with the groundwork, but we'll get to why Burning Spirit Wit is bad later. So groundwork is it's a very good skill. I love groundwork. I think 2 of my 3 aces have groundwork and the groundwork combo to try and take the lead early to get into a good position. The problem is that the Sakura Bakushin O cannot activate it. Now, if they just picked it up to try and inherit it, that's fine, but I'm breaking this down as an ace. which I assume that they were trying to build an ace considering they gave it 3 inherited ultimates. And groundwork just does not work. There is, as far as I can see, no way that groundwork can actually trigger. Which is just a waste of, 70 to 100 points. Light as a feather, skill's fine. I don't really have too much to say about light as a feather. If you can pick it up, pick it up. Burning Spirit Wit, on the other hand, though. This skill is really, really bad as... assuming that you do not have something like dodging danger. And they don't have dodging danger because they're not a front runner. They do not have a way to actually take advantage of the navigation, which means that they're going to just swing out and get into a worse position. Never ever buy Spirit Wit or Burning Spirit Wit if you do not know what you're doing with it. Mostly have, dodging danger. It's also very, very expensive. It's another gold skill. My question is, they could have gotten... The fact that they got Burning Spirit Wit means they were clicking Wit the entire run. If they had gotten Burning Spirit Speed or Burning Spirit Guts or Power, all of those would have been way better than Burning Spirit Wit here. So, just a waste of points. Actively makes this ace worse by having it. And that's never where you want to be. You'd never want to be spending skill points to make your ace worse. So this is what they have, and I talked a little bit about what they don't have when I talked about this. The other thing they don't have is they don't have mid-game skills. They don't really have early game skills either. They have the beginnings of it with the groundwork, but I already talked about that. The problem is the only skill that they have that can really activate in the mid game is It's On, which can help them maybe overtake someone. There's no straightaway adepts. There's nothing that helps them in the mid game. So they have a very weak mid game. Their end game has some problems. I'm not going to say it's weak, but it has some problems. Mostly missing the inherited ults from Taiki Shuttle and Nishino Flower. So, and you want good mid game, especially on your pace chasers, because in order to hit things like your speed stars, your shooting for victories, your budding blossoms, you need to be in a good position to hit those. And if you don't have the mid-game skills, and you don't have the power to overtake, you're just going to be towards the back and you're going to lose. So, that's what I have to say about the Sakura Bakushin O. Now, the Taiki Shuttle. Again, I mentioned it. Taiki Shuttle, I would say, is one of the most meta Umamusume for the CM. She's very, very good. Her ultimate is very, very strong. And getting it at full power is exactly what you want. Now, we'll break it down, but Taiki Shuttle, very good pick. One of the best. Again, SS doesn't matter. I already covered that. With the speed, again, it's below the new cap. People are going to be about 150 speed faster than you if they're maxing out their speed. Stamina, again, fine. Power, this one's better. It's like about 1,000, especially with their firm conditions. But again, you want to be above 1,200. Guts, a little bit lower than the last, but Guts doesn't matter that much. And wit, again, it's their highest stat. They click too much wit, in my opinion. Like at least 2 to 3 of those wit clicks could probably have been speed clicks and would have been in a better position. All right. This one actually does have sprint tests. No complaints. That's done correctly. Obviously, if you had Turf S, that would be better. If you had both Turf S and Turf's distance S sprint, jeez, and Pace Chaser S, but you know, Sprint S is where you want to be. So, good job, good job. Again, shooting for victory, level 2. You need to upgrade this skill. This is your bread and butter. You can get more abilities, you can get more stuff. But shooting for victory, level 2, not where you want to be. It shows me you're not doing enough races. We already talked about look at Curren and Prideful King. Exactly the same problem. Right-handed, left-handed, again. Only one works, and it's the right-handed. Left-handed, waste of space. Firm conditions. This is good. This is a firm conditions track. Power's important. If they had groundwork, it could help that. Brain skills that work on the track, generally very good. All right. Corner adept. That was something else about the Sakura Bakushin O that I didn't point out, but I'll point out here. Corner adept. You need to hit your corner skills. Corner skills are very, very important on this track for the speed carryover. And I'm not going to get into what that means. Just know that you want as many corner skills generally as possible. So, corner adept, very good that they have it. I noticed that none of their aces have Professor of Curvature, which makes me think that they do not have Kidasan Black. And that's a different problem. But again, I think that this is a much more casual player. So, not having something, everyone knows Kidasan Black is good. At this point, I don't need to hammer that Kidasan Black is good. I just noticed that they probably don't have it. And they're probably not borrowing it either. If I had to assume, I don't know what their deck looks like, but if I had to assume, they're borrowing Fine Motion. All right, straightaway adept. Again, mid game, it's good. I'm not going to touch on that very much more. Straightaway acceleration. This is an incredibly gambly acceleration skill. It can activate in a lot of bad spots, and it can activate in some good spots. It used to be much better on sprints because there wasn't as many good skills, acceleration skills. At this point, we're a little bit more spoiled for choice, so you don't need to gamble on things like straightaway acceleration. The gold skill, Rushing Gale, is a little bit better. It provides velocity in addition to acceleration. So even when it activates in a quote-unquote bad spot, you're at least getting some value out of it. But, again, this is a suspect skill that, while it can be argued for, it has some issues that need to be addressed. I already touched on what's wrong with its on. Nimble Navigator. Nimble Navigator is great. The problem is that this should probably be no stopping me. They're doing this in Unity Cup. Getting no stopping me is basically guaranteed. So I knew that they probably had access to it, and I think it would probably be better than straightaway acceleration. Like, if you got rid of straightaway acceleration and left-handed, you probably could have afforded it, and you would have been basically exactly the same place. except for better, because Nimble Navigator, no stopping me, is going to be better than the skill that doesn't do anything in the super inconsistent skill. Already touched on Homestretch Haste. I see that this time they missed their fine motion. That, or they picked it off of Taiki Shuttle's one of her events. Anyways, sad to not see. Sad there's no Speed Star, but what you gonna do? Sprint straightaway works the same way as straightaway adept. Fine. All right. Straight Descent. This skill works as a pseudo groundwork on this track. Slash, if it doesn't activate there, I think that the acceleration can hit at a good point at the end. Anyways, this skill is fine. It's, I would actively say that it's pretty good. You want stuff that helps you take the lead at the beginning. Straight Descent is a good way to try and make that happen. Obviously, the gold version's better on Nishino Flower. Obviously, it'd be better if they had groundwork to try and take the lead, but Straight Descent, no complaints there. Actively good choice. Shatterproof, on the other hand, is not a good choice. Generally. There are some examples where it can be good. So Shatterproof is an acceleration skill that is on Pace Chasers that activates at the end if you're in the back. Now, everything Pace Chasers want to do is be towards the front. Shatterproof acts as an insurance policy against that, slash some wacky builds when there's like a million front runners. I'm not going to get into those edge cases. The main problem with it is it actively fights against what you're trying to do here. I'm guessing that they probably got this off of the Narita Bryan speed card. The free one, which adds to my theory that this is a much more casual player. But Shatterproof, you almost never want this. It is probably a waste of points. Even as an insurance policy, you're already in a bad spot. It's, in my opinion, it's better to build to your outs, build to hitting everything, than having this insurance policy that changes a like 0% chance of winning to like a 5% chance of winning if you were in that position. It's just not very good, and it's a lot of points that's just wasted. So Pace Chaser Savvy, it's fine. It's good. Not going to get into how it works, but it's fine. Would be better if they were triggering groundwork, which they could, because they have right-handed, they have firm conditions, and they have Pace Chaser Savvy. If they had their groundwork, they could have triggered groundwork. They either missed it or didn't buy it. I'm just going to assume that they missed it, because groundwork is annoying to get sometimes. Ignited Spirit Speed, good. I already talked about Burning Spirit Wit. It's bad. Don't ever buy it unless you know what you're doing. Okay. We'll go down to the King Halo. So this is their third runner. King Halo, I would say, is weaker than Sakura Bakushin O and Taiki Shuttle, but it's viable. He is a viable thing to run this CM. The cheerleader one doesn't really have an ult, but base does, and it's fine. It's kind of good. This is a fine choice, especially since, as I've been saying, this seems to be a much more casual player. They have much more limited resources. Running a 1-star that's very easy to get makes sense. Again, rank doesn't matter. Speed, we already covered it. Stamina, fine. 384 is kind of pushing it, but it's fine. Not going to get into it. Power, we've already talked about what's wrong with power. Like, all of these have the same basic problem of not enough speed, not enough power, too much wit. They hit Sprint S, good for them. All right. Prideful King, it's at level 5. And the reason why it's at level 5 is because King Halo is required to do races that get a lot of fans. And I'm assuming that they won them, like the Satsuki show, and they probably did pretty well at an Arima Keenan, or they did pretty well at the Japanese Derby. They were able to upgrade their skill. Probably still not, the best. They probably could have afforded to do more races. I'm guessing that they didn't do any additional races on top of that. If their other 2 races were on top of it, but at least their skill is upgraded. Again, not going to go into look at current. Baracola of Blessings, though. This is TM Opera O's unique skill. New York TM Opera O. It's a good skill that's generally better on mediums, but it's fine. Except for this, you need to activate 7 abilities in the early to mid game. And I don't think they're doing it. And we'll get on to that. Cloudy Days. I'm 95% sure. I haven't looked it up. I'm pretty sure that it's sunny for this CM. Like, Cloudy Days is doing nothing. It's just a waste of things. And it hurts more because you have Baracola of Blessing. So this is just not doing anything. It's on, already talked about. No Stopping Me, already talked about. Go with the Flow. This is, if I remember, the late game navigation skill. It increases your ability to navigate smoothly, which gives you more lane shifting speed. I think Go with the Flow is probably fine, but it's a late game skill. It's not helping this. Homestretch Haste, not helping this. Speed Star, not helping this. And speaking of Speed Star, they are running this King Halo as a pace chaser, which means that her upgraded ultimate is not doing anything. Probably. Assuming that she's in a good position as a pace chaser. She should be late surging. This look at Curren should be let's pump some iron. Baracola of Blessings. I don't know. Maybe it should be Behold Thine Emperor's Divine Might off of Symboli Rudolph. They're just going in opposite directions of where they need to be. Same with Blinding Flash. Blinding Flash is a good skill if you're late surging. If you're pace chasing, it's probably not doing anything. Like, it's just becoming this kind of hodgepodge. And Blinding Flash, again, doesn't help. It doesn't help hit. It's so subdued front runners and hesitant front runners. Generally, I'm pretty low on red debuff skills, except for certain things. The main problem with these 2 skills, though, is there's hardly any front runners. Everyone's a pace chaser. You saw their team. They're running 3 pace chasers. I'm running 3 pace chasers. If you're running a front runner, it's usually to help your pace chasers do better. These 2 skills, even if they were good, and I generally argue that they're not, but even if they were good, they're not hitting any front runners because there's no front runners here. Everybody's running pace chasers. The people you need to be worried about are the pace chasers. There's no reason to debuff front runners when every single meta choice is a pace chaser. Straight Descent, good, fine. Ignited Spirit Speed, good, fine. They said that their last skill was Ignited Spirit Wit in another thing, and I've already gone over why that's bad. there's just a lot of problems with what they're doing, and I don't want to be too mean. Like, you don't know what you don't know, and this game has a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot to talk about. I've already spent 40 minutes breaking down the three Uma Musumes and where I thought they were good and where I thought they were bad and what they could do better. But when you're building a CM ace, there needs to be a coherent idea behind it. And all of these have just very incoherent things and serious problems. And the irony of all of this is they posted this wedding Curren Chan. And I don't think it's great, but I do think it's probably better than every single one of their aces. And I'll go over why. So, like I said, the reason that they're probably not running it is they saw that it was S plus and it had low wit. S plus doesn't matter. This is probably about roughly equivalent to all of these. The low wit, it's low, but lower than where I would like it, but it's not so low that it's embarrassing. The power, though, that's where you want to be. The speed, this is where you want to be. They missed Sprint S. That's sad. Again, we've talked about it's on their ability. It looks like they upgraded it. They took some effort in getting Mile Sparks on Curren Chan, I'm assuming to run mile races to upgrade her skill. No stopping me. Turbo Sprint. Good skills. The subdue front runners, I've already covered that. Sprint corners, pace chaser corners, where you want to be. Light as a feather, burning spirit speed. These are good skills. Pace chaser savvy, good skill. Adored by all. Now, one of the things that Curren does is that she has a debuff that actually does matter. Her adored by all, her intimidate. This Curren Chan helps your other racers do better by debuffing everyone else. So even if she's not winning, adored by all, good skill. This is where you want to be in this. And I think that this Curren Chan is significantly better than this King Halo, and they did not run it. They mentioned that it was the King Halo, it's the Taiki Shuttle, and it is the Sakura Bakushin O. Like I said, I do not want to bully this account. Please don't, go out and tell them, wow, you suck at the game. Here's all the things that you did wrong. Here's you're a bad person. All of this stuff. This is not the intention of this video. It's to show that, how you should be thinking about CMs and how you should be doing it. There's a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of guides online, and personally, I think a lot of them are pretty bad. Hopefully, at some point, I can, start maybe making some of my own, at least getting my own thoughts out there. Hopefully get some good information out to you wonderful people. I don't want to see people, 1,200 people, feel that this, no matter how good you do, your graded races always look like this. It's because it's not that good. Like I said, there's a lot of problems with it. And again, I cannot stress this enough. This is not me trying to dogpile this person and be like, "Ooh, you're a horrible person. I hate you." It's to try and illustrate that with a little bit of tweaking, with a little bit of know-how, with a little bit of work, these could have been, I think, really good racers. But there's a lot of information that this person just does not know. And I'm not gonna just, step out there and tear someone's builds to shreds without, at least throwing my hat into the ring and letting other people tell me that, I'm stupid too. This is the Nishino flower that I'm currently using. I think that Nishino flower is probably the best runner for the CM. I think she's slightly better than Taiki Shuttle. But that's opinion. I think basically everyone will agree that it's Nishino flower and Taiki Shuttle. These are the two best runners this CM. And I'm running both of them. Anyways. So, like I said, rank does not matter anymore. This Nishino flower has lost to plenty of SS's, S pluses. It's been, fine. But UG4. The speed. Like I said, this hit the speed cap that I was able to hit. The stamina. It's honestly, I think, a little too high. I wish that this stamina was either in the guts or in the power, but definitely high enough. Power above 1200. Guts, I honestly wish it was a little bit higher, but what you gonna do? In the wit, we're hitting the diminishing returns. 1306 I think is perfectly fine. One of the disappointing things with this is I only hit the turf S. I didn't hit sprint tests. If this hit sprint tests, would be significantly better, but you got to play with what you have. And a lot of the other things were good. So, Budding Blossom upgraded twice. Lights of Vaudeville. This is kind of like the Prideful King ult, but it works good for pace chasers. It helps you break out of the last little pack and get some more velocity at the end. Shooting for Victory, giving you more acceleration in this. Right-handed. Like I said, this is a right-handed track. Increase that speed more. Competitive Spirit. Like I said, everyone is running pace chasers. So having, more power when other runners are using the same strategy. I think the cutoff is 4 or 5. I think it's 4. I'm running 3. If one other person is running a pace chaser, Competitive Spirit is activating and everybody's running pace chasers. This is basically guaranteed. Professor of Curvature, speed carryover. Straightaway adept, mid-game, focus. This is helping both my groundwork, which I have, and, diminishes the effects of a late start, but it's mostly there for my groundwork, but we'll get to that. Ramp up, like I said, it does most of what it's on does, but for way cheaper. No Stopping Me, Speed Star, we've talked about this. Countermeasures. This is this helps with your acceleration going into the endgame. Meticulous Measures. This is a mid-game skill that will help our tail held high that I'll get to later. Pace Chaser Corners, Speed Carryover, Determined Descent. Again, this is a... it might be overkill with the groundwork, honestly, but I really want to be closer to the front and accelerate really fast out of the gate. Tail held high, playtime's over, mid-game skills. If you get enough mid-game skills, you increase your velocity. And I have playtime's over, I have Meticulous Measures, I have ramp up, I have straightaway adept. So hopefully I get my tail held high, and with my wit I think I probably do. Ignited Spirit Speed, these all help with my tail held high. Head on, another acceleration skill. I think that this is a pretty good build. Yesterday, my results were not super good with her. Only a 15% win rate. I built this and started using it yesterday, but pretty all right. We have my Fuji Kaseki that I've been running. again, speed, all of this. Stamina's a little bit high in my opinion, but you know, what you gonna do? Big thing, I have Turf S and Sprint S. All of these skills, Behold Thine Emperor's Divine Might has been pretty suspect, but when it triggers, it's good. Right-handed, firm conditions, outer post proficiency. I'm pretty sure on this one I missed Kita-san's last thing and I could only get Corner Adept. I have not been super impressed with Rushing Gale. I wanted to try it because it was recently buffed to give velocity, but haven't been super impressed by it. But when it triggers in a good spot, it's good, and when it triggers in a bad spot, it's probably not worth the full points, but it's not as bad as it was. So, focus. Again, this is for my groundwork. Right-handed, firm conditions, focus, groundwork. Outer post proficiency sometimes works too. It's on, no stopping me. We've talked about this. I didn't have enough points for anything else at the end. I had like 50 points left over, so I just decided to buy Sympathy. Slipstream, good mid-game skill. Playtime's over, mid-game skill. Burning Spirit speed, mid-game. / late game, depending on where it activates. Anyways, has done all right. 20% win rate, been running it every single time. It's one of the only people that I haven't replaced, mostly because I'm not hitting Turf S and Sprint S again. My last runner is Taiki Shuttle. 20% win rate. Shooting for victory. Lights of Vaudeville, Budding Blossom. Everyone has them. Firm conditions, competitive spirit. Gonna get those every time. Pace Chaser savvy. Unfortunately, did not get groundwork on this one, but green skills that work are really good. Target and sight. If everybody's running Pace Chaser, it's probably going to activate. Leap Forward just has not been very good. I bought it because it was new, wanted to test it out. It has not been good. Anyways, these are the runners that I've been running. Too much stamina. It's because of Riko Kashimoto. I ran her for Rushing Gale. She provides a lot of stamina and guts. If only those stamina was guts and wit, be a better runner. Anyways, I've tried some other things. I ran a Bamboo Memory day one. I replaced this Nishino Flower with this other one. You can see, this one was doing better, but this was also strictly day one. Day one and day two. 40% win rate. Anyways. I would say I have about a 65-ish% win rate right now. Maybe closer to 60. And, you know, I made day 3. I'm in the A finals. So, hopefully all of this together has helped you at least get an idea of, you know, what to think about in a CM. Unfortunately, all of this information is going out really late. Probably not enough time to actually do anything to fix any of your aces. Maybe for the final if you see this in time. But, like I said, I wanted to put this out there so people get an idea of, you know, why they might be losing so much. It's because there's a lot that goes into this, and there's a lot of, I really cannot hammer it enough. This is a UG4, 15% win, 20% win. They lose to SS's all the time because it's a sprint CM and there's a lot of variance. You can succeed if you build correctly. Like, rank doesn't matter all that much anymore. I really cannot hammer that home enough. Anyways, this was much more of a spur of the moment, just talking to the camera, getting my thoughts out there. Because, like I said, this video has acted as a brainworm for me. Well, not video, the tweet. I saw it 2 days ago, and it just keeps on going back into my mind of just how some people think about this game. And I really want people... It's the reason I started this channel. I want to see people succeed and get better and to learn how this game works, because there's a lot of cool stuff in it. I play this game a lot, as you can probably tell. I know a decent amount. I make hour-long YouTube videos talking about it. And I just want people to succeed and not to get demoralized and have this kind of maybe learned helplessness where, well, nothing I can do can make me succeed. No, there's very easy tweaks that most players can make to increase their win rate and to do better in CM, especially with a lot of people coming back after Make a New Track. Make a New Track was the sweatiest this game has ever been, and it is significantly more casual right now with everything, with a lot of people coming back. And I think that's probably good for the health of the game, but not if people immediately get demoralized because they don't know what they're doing and get destroyed. Anyways, well, if you liked this more spur of the moment talking to the camera video, please like and subscribe, leave comments with questions, concerns, insult my builds, tell me that I'm stupid, that actually Shatterproof is great. I've been working on a new video about currencies and how to obtain them and stuff. My research is done. I was editing putting together everything, and just could not get this out of my brain and wanted to put this out. So please, like I said, like and subscribe, comment, and just let me know if you think I'm wrong or think I'm right. Anyways, thank you for watching.